everyone, welcome back to ByteRipple. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to apply HTML class attributes. In our previous videos, you guys must have seen that I style most of the elements, HTML elements. Sometimes I apply colors, I do some hedge styling. In our previous class, we talked about HTML div as containers that we use in structuring our HTML page. So today I'm going to be focusing on how to teach you specifically how to apply those HTML class attributes to style our containers, HTML containers, or any HTML element. Without any further delay, let's just get into the practical. Now I have to clean up some of this content so that we have a clearer space to work. And as you can see here, I've also highlighted here some few areas we might touch. So the first thing we are going to be looking at is HTML class attribute. So here I'm going to be giving you some examples. Let's start by adding some comments so we know what we are working on. So today we are working on HTML class attributes. Okay, now we can add a bold heading, okay, just to give us an highlight. Let's just say class attributes. Okay, and when we Control S, let's open with Live Server. Okay, now we have a bold class attributes, or we can make it just a bold class attribute. So the first thing we are going to be looking at is HTML a class attribute syntax. Okay, let's start by applying, maybe creating a single div like we did the last time, so an HTML container. So the very shortcut to go about creating a class name is just on your keyboard, just type a dot, then write whatever class name you want to write, and at the end just click the tab button or the tab key, then it auto completes it for you. So for instance, if I click on dots, then I write the class name. Let's say the class name is going to be container. Okay, the moment you click, you write the last letter of that word, just click okay, the arrow key, then it auto completes for you. And now we have the class attributes. The attribute name, okay, is class, and the value is container. So this is what we are going to use to style this particular HTML element. So within this HTML class or this particular container, we can add an extra HTML element. Let's say h1. We want to name this h1. We say learning. Okay, learning is fun. And we Control S. Now we can see that we have, or let's use a different HTML heading element, heading tag value, Control S. So it's different from the topic. So we say learning is fun, and now we want to style this container so that we can see that, yeah, we can make use of the class attribute called container. So we see the difference between the H3 and the main container. So we just go to our HTML internal styling. We have been using this for quite a while now. So what we would do here now is to make use of the class attribute container that we've highlighted below. So the syntax is just for you to click dots on your keyboard, then write the class name. Okay, the class name, which is container. Then open a curly brace. Now we want to style this particular container. So we could start the styling by just simply giving the container a background color. So we can say background color. And we can say I love orange. We can say orange color, Control S. Now we can see that our container now has a background color of orange. And what other things can we do? We can say Let's give it some padding. You remember padding is an internal spacing we give to our HTML elements. Pixels, okay, Control S. Okay, now we have spacing within our container. We can give it, or we can reduce the width of this particular container to 50 pixels, 50%, 50%, and we Control S. We, yeah, Control S, okay, to 50%. So we want to reduce the size, okay, of this particular HTML element. Now we have it to be 50%. So the next thing we could do is probably create another HTML element within it. So we could say div, we could say dots child container. Okay, so within it we can say adding. Okay, we could use h4, so it's different. Say learning code is on. Control S. Now we can see that there's a nested container within this main container. Okay, the bigger one, which is this container here. So the child container is within the main container or the parent container. So what we want to do now is we go back to our styling sheet and we can just apply dot child container. We call the HTML attributes. Remember we named it child container and we open a curly brace. We could give it a background from to differentiate it from the parent container. We could call it maybe gray. Okay, I think gray is a nice color that we can have. We could just make it a little bit white. Yeah, like this, and we can Control S. So we can also apply some padding and yeah, within it. So to space out the content or to give it some spacing, we could say maybe 5 pixels. Let's say 5 pixels. I will Control S, and now we have this container within it. So this is like a single way of applying an HTML class attribute. We could apply multiple class attributes within a single HTML element. Okay, let me repeat that. We could apply multiple class attributes within a single HTML element, and that would be we adding another HTML class attribute within this particular HTML element. For instance, if you want to have different styling to our HTML element, for this particular container that is orange now, we want to add a different style to it. Okay, let's say we want to style, we can call it main. So this main now is another HTML class, another class attributes we have within this parent container. So if we go back up here and we just come here and say dot main, and we put an arrow and we say the key tag, the key tag within that container, and we open a curly brace. Okay, so we are targeting the paragraph. Is it the paragraph or H1? Sorry, H3. So we are targeting the H3 within that container. H can say H3. Okay, so we want to style the H3 within the container. Okay, so what we do now is, so we can tell this H3 to be, we can change the color, the text color to be white. Let's say white. I will Control S. Now you can see that the text color is changed. Okay. Normally, if we decide not to use this class attribute, it's just to show you that we could have multiple class attributes within a single HTML elements, okay, without complicating things. I wouldn't want to go too far or too in depth on this. So our next topic is now going to be different elements sharing the same HTML class attributes, different elements sharing the same HTML class attributes. So let's take, for instance, we have span here, span, okay, as an HTML element, and we say, I love coding. Okay, and we want to apply the same HTML class attribute to this particular element. So we can say this is text. Okay, that's the class name. We could say another class name is going to be text. Okay, Control S. So if we go back up here, just target.text, okay, as the HTML class attribute, and we want to style those text within it, and we might want to change the text color. That's the closest we could do. Changing the text color to red. It's more obvious. Control S. Now you can see that the text color here is changed simply because we apply both class attributes to both different HTML elements. Okay, we have the h4 and we have the span. So we have their class attribute to be text, and we could style both of them having the same styling. We could have more classes like that we want to apply. Let's say we want to also apply it to, is there a p tag here? There is no p tag. So let's assume we want to apply the same class attribute to this. We say text also. We come here and say this is getting interesting. Okay, we Control S. Now you see the style is now applied to the text even without us doing anything. We can see that it's applied. So basically, this is how we apply HTML class attributes to HTML elements. So this is just like an introduction to HTML cascading style sheet, like a brief explanation to HTML cascading style sheet, that is CSS. So in our CSS module, we are going to be learning more about this particular concept, just to give you an idea of what we are going to be doing in the future. And for our final project, we'll be using some of these skills to work on our final project. If you have any question, you can always drop it in the comment section. If you don't understand this, you can rewind the video to see how we are able to achieve this. It's basically simple. Add a class attribute to an HTML element, either a single class attribute or multiple class attribute. You can have as many class attribute as you want on an HTML element. You can also nest your HTML elements or containers and add different class attributes just to have different styling on different HTML elements. So that's it for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.